NXT took place from its home in Orlando, Florida at the WWE Performance Center. This is the final NXT before next week's show, which is the homecoming show, which will take place at Full Sail University. So you had Javon Evans start the show, and I don't mean he made his entrance. He just came out of the crowd with a microphone starting the show, calling out Josh Briggs to a match. Briggs arrives, and then right as Briggs comes out, Evans hits a dive to the outside. There were multiple dives he hit. Ava comes out. She's concerned. She's mad. Sends a ref, and the match starts. You get Javon Evans and Josh Briggs. So there was a really cool suicide dive Javon Evans hit to Josh Briggs, in which he hit the dive, and both guys went over the announce booth, which was cool. And I don't think it was ever supposed to break. It actually looked better if they bounced off it. It looked more painful. Briggs brings in a chair. The ref takes it away. But you had, as the ref is distracted, Javon goes for a springboard, but then you can see Briggs take a chain out of his tights, and he hits Javon in the back. He basically punches him right in the back. That knocks out Javon, knocks the wind out of him, it seemed like, and he pins him. So Josh Briggs gets the win. You had Ricky Saints and Obafemi arguing in Ava's office. She announces they'll be on the Grayson Waller effect next week. I think to myself, why? He sucked. He represents the worst time of NXT, the NXT 2.0 era, which is the worst NXT. This is supposed to be homecoming. Full Sail, this represents black and gold. We want to see black and gold. DIY is perfect for black and gold. There's going to be other stars, which we'll talk about, coming for that show, which is good. Tyler Breeze, that's a spoiler for if you didn't see the show and you're just listening to this review, but he's going to be on. That's a great era. I mean, the worst era was the 2.0 era, which I wasn't watching. I didn't watch NXT in 2022. I didn't want to watch it. So, Grayson Waller sucks. I don't want to see him. He has go-away heat with me. He sucks. The stuff with the New Day. I don't want to see Grayson Waller. So that's one thing I'm really not looking forward to. And he was barely at Full Sail. He was mostly a 2.0 guy when they already moved into the Performance Center by then. So you had Trick walk in, talk some shit. I don't really know what he said. We see DIY walking backstage, and then Gargano and Ciampa are in the ring. Their old theme music plays, and they have their old DIY merchandise, the old blue shirts, which is cool. And Trick Williams interrupts them. He brings out Carmelo Hayes. And it's weird because right when he brings out Carmelo gets on the mic. He just rips into Trick, reigniting their feud. I'm thinking to myself, this makes Trick look like such a fucking fool. Carmelo is shitting all over him after Trick brought him out here. Why would he even come out? Why would he even agree to come out? And Carmelo's talking about how he is a legend, how Gargano and Ciampa are all legends, which is true. Those two are legends. I don't know if Carmelo is necessarily an NXT legend per se. He was definitely one of the better guys post Black and Gold and pre-CW era. I think we're in the CW era, and this is like that 2.0, that period in between when they moved on Tuesdays and CW. It's kind of really the worst periods of NXT, to be honest. Even though I thought last year, 2024, was actually a better year than this year is. 2024 was a really good year. But, that 2022, 2023 era, the worst time for NXT. He was definitely one of the faces of it, but I don't know. I just feel like it's weird. I don't see him at the same level as a Tommaso Ciampa or a Johnny Gargano, but he's definitely one of the better guys post Black and Gold. But DIY finally mocks them, and this causes Carmelo to side with Trick, and they each bring up each other's feuds when Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes feud, and of course the legendary, the greatest rivalry in the history of NXT, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, one of the best turns ever, when Ciampa turned on Gargano at that NXT TakeOver Chicago show. That was actually, I think that was the first ever WWE show I ever reviewed that wasn't like a Raw or a SmackDown. It was actually the first one on that channel. It was NXT TakeOver Chicago. Ciampa turning over 8 years ago now. And DIY eventually challenged him to a tag match next week. And hey, that's a hell of a match. Hopefully Trick Williams stays on the apron, but I'm going to look forward to seeing Johnny Gargano against Carmelo Hayes in the ring. Yeah, sign me up for that. Hopefully Trick stays on the apron. I'd also like to see Carmelo mixed up with Ciampa, but hopefully Trick can be as... Hopefully he has minimal involvement in the match. So you have Laney Reed and Fabia Pacho in the speed match. So this is only a 3-minute match. Natty Neidhart, which I'm not going to call her Natalia. She's Natty Neidhart, distracts Fabi, causing her to match, and Laney advances, and Natty's going to face Fabi at the Worlds Collide show, which I'm not sure I'm going to watch, to be honest. So Ruka and Zarya are backstage. Hank and Take arrive to promote their match. It's kind of a friendly babyface tag team interactions, both teams' faces. So I think this looks like such a star. I think she has so much more potential. No offense to Zarya, but I just feel like, wow, so just has so much more potential. It's not even close. I mean, it's such a gap. There's a Blake Monroe video promo on Jordan Grace, and it's spooky themed because she's in her bathtub, surrounded by a red light, which was good, but at the same time, I'm kind of thinking to myself, we're only in September. Halloween is not till next month. Maybe you guys have a Spirit Halloween store in your town or city. I don't have one yet, so maybe I'm not in the Halloween spirit yet. But yeah, maybe there's Spirit Halloween stores set up in Orlando. I don't know. I don't live there. But yeah, this was doing a really dark promo, surrounded in the bathtub, red light. It was a good Blake Monroe promo, but it's not anything you haven't seen a million times. You get the tag team title match, Dark State against Tank and Tank. Joe Hendry appears. He pops out of the wall of that podium structure, circular structure, and that's in the crowd. He appears when someone mentions his name. But unfortunately, Dark State retained anyway. They suck. I hate them. We get an NXT Anonymous on the Twitter page with Ethan Page trying to recruit Miles Bourne. Then we see Lexis King trash talking Miles Bourne while he's talking to Charlie Dempsey in the locker room. Then Miles shuts off the lights and attacks Lexis King with a chair. We get the flag match, Tavian Heights and Ethan Page. Tavian Heights representing the United States, Ethan Page representing Canada. Heights wins the match. Hopefully this feud's over. I'm so sick of this Canadian foreign menace gimmick. It's such 1997 bullshit. I mean, look who the fucking booker is. It's Shawn Michaels. It just reeks of, the Hart Foundation. I'm gonna get Ethan Page a whole bunch of heat, and that's how it just feels like to me. Maybe he thinks he can get Tavian Heights over, this great American patriots. I don't know what he's doing. This sucks. I hate this feud. I hope it's over, but Tavian Heights wins. He grabs the United States flag. Of course he's going. The American's going to win in NXT. What do you expect? In WWE, of course. So he raises the American flag, and he grabs the Canadian flag, and he buries Ethan Page under the Canadian flag. I guess Page did that to him earlier, so it's his revenge. When we hear Tyler Breeze's theme song, and that got a good pop. 2014, Woken, got 2014 nostalgia. Man, I remember that. I remember all those NXT themes are so iconic. The Tyler Breeze theme, that Page theme, which was awesome. The Emma theme, which was awful, but was so memorable. I remember all those years in NXT. Neville, Sami Zayn, one of the best theme songs ever, by the way. He still has it. All those theme songs in NXT Ascension, they sucked. But that brings me a time when NXT, that was before NXT really took off. I don't think it took off till later that year in 2015. After the Brooklyn show, that's when it really went to another level, in my opinion. But I remember those old times of NXT. It's that nostalgia. Not everyone was watching. I was watching on a network, and you could only watch on the network back then. There was no TV deal. That hit the feels for me. Hit the feels for LRMania here. Takes a selfie, setting up a match next week. Then we get another Lola Vice video package. There's not much here. It's the same stuff. It's not as in depth as last time. She just talked about growing up in Miami, going to Catholic school, and I guess it's ironic she was in a Catholic school, and now she barely wears any clothes on television. So yeah, I guess it's ironic. Then you had Fatal Influence react to it in the locker room. They prepare for their match. They promote next week's show, the Homecoming show. Then we get the main event, triple threat tag team elimination match winners face the women's tag team champions on NXT Homecoming next week. That is, is it Homecoming or is it on No Mercy? I'm not sure. It's either one of the two. Winners face Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Hopefully we can see them next week either way. I'd love to see Charlotte back and Alexa back. And hopefully Bayley's back. Becky Lynch, I'd like to see back. I want to see all of them back. It's Full Sail. How many times are they going to go back to Full Sail? I'd like to see all the women back, some of the top guys back. But, can't get the 4 horsewomen back, unfortunately. That sucks, but we know why. One of them is not with the company. Miss Banks, Sasha Banks, is not here anymore. But you can get Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, who was never part of the 4 horsewomen, but she was there. She was in that first class of NXT. With Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Becky. Then you had Dana Brooke, Carmella. I don't think she'll be there. I don't know. She wasn't really a big name, but it'll be at least cool to see some of them back. And Asuka absolutely needs to be back. She came a little bit later, not part of the first class, but she needs to be back. I think she's the greatest NXT female star of all time, in my opinion. Her run in NXT is the best. Not sure who else. Kyrie, maybe. Kyrie Sane. Io Sky, maybe. I think I can see her. Maybe. Liv Morgan, maybe she could make an appearance if I think she lives in Florida, maybe. I don't know if she's still rehabbing. Raquel Rodriguez, maybe. Roxanne Perez definitely needs to beat her. She was a star. Julia, maybe. I'd like to see a lot of them. We'll see. Anyway, this match, Sol Ruka and Zarya against Izzy Damon, Tatum Paxley against Phil Influence, which was Fallon Henley and Jasmine next. Sol hit the Soul Snatcher by mistake on Zarya by accident. This allows Phil Influence to eliminate her. I guess maybe Zarya can turn on Sol, and she can cost her the speed title, which you're going to have a 3-minute match at that No Mercy. Something tells me there's going to be an angle because it can only be 3 minutes for the speed belt. So maybe Zarya turns on Sol, Sol loses the belt, and then they feud for the North American Women's Championship, maybe at Halloween Havoc or something. But that eliminated Saruka, and then he had Izzy Dame pinning Fallon Henley, and I thought, really, I don't want to watch Izzy Dame wrestle for a fucking women's tag match. Her match with Saruka sucked at Great American Bash. Izzy Dame sucks. I don't want to watch her wrestle with Charlotte and Alexa. I'd like to see Fallon and Jasmine in that mix. I think Fallon has potential. Izzy's not good. And Tatum, I don't see much, but for her, whatever. I wish her and Alexa had better opponents, but Izzy and Tatum advance. And they'll face Alexa and Charlotte. And then after the match, JC Jane gets on the mic, immediately starts yelling at Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix after the match. And then we see 2 cars arriving in the parking lot. We go to a break. And then JC's in the ring again when we come back. She says Fit Influence will be part of Homecoming. And then you have Stephanie Vaquer interrupt, and she gets a big pop from the fans. JC says there's 3 of us and 1 of you after Stephanie's cutting her promo. And then Tiffany Stratton appears back in NXT. She gets a big pop as well. Almost been 2 years now since she was in NXT. Last time, I think, when she lost to Becky. She lost that feud to Becky Lynch. But Tiffany Stratton back gets a big pop. She's cutting a promo too. And then JC Jane says she's the best NXT Women's Champion of all time. And then they mention, I think it's Tiffany who mentions Mommy. And then Rhea Ripley's music plays. And Stephanie got a big pop. Tiffany got a big pop. Rhea's pop was bigger than both of them combined, to say the least. They went unglued for her, and I think all those idiots who complain about Rhea Ripley being overpushed, she's the most over female in the entire company. She might not be your favorite, but she is the most over, and she's one of the most over stars they have. She is a mega star. Like it or not, I'm sorry if you don't like Rhea Ripley. She is a mega star. And she comes out, gets a massive pop. She gets on the mic, responds to JC Jane. Eventually, it leads to a brawl, setting up a 6-woman tag match next week, which the announcers confirm. Then they preview the Homecoming show next week as I call it the dream team of women's wrestling right now, the super team of Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, and Stephanie Vaquer stands tall in the ring to end NXT and to promote next week's show, which is Homecoming. And I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to Homecoming more than practically any show in NXT this year, besides the MSG show, which was loaded, and maybe the Stand and Deliver. But I'm more looking forward to Homecoming than I was the Great American Bash show or the Heat Wave show or probably No Mercy. This feels like one of the biggest NXTs of the year. More than the Philly show, more than that was a special. Other shows, they've done specials this year. I guess maybe not New Year's Evil. That was a big show to start the year in LA. But I'm more looking forward to this show than practically any other show in a while. Definitely more than any show that they've done in the summer. I'm pumped for this, and hopefully we get a great show next week. I'm so happy to see it back in Full Sail. Brings up so much nostalgia vibes. Feels like it's 10 years in time. We're back in time 10 years ago. Love Full Sail, and I hope they set it up exactly like NXT Black and Gold used to be set up. So all on board next week. This is actually a fun show. I enjoyed the show this week, especially the ending, and I'm really looking forward to next week. NXT Homecoming back at Full Sail.